All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to your Saturday night edition of Unscripted, live here on Facebook at Unscripted. We're also live on the All Sports, All Plays Network on YouTube, so go and check them out. They got a ton of amazing, fun content about anything and everything sports related. I am your producer tonight, Logan Landers, and joining me are my two co-hosts, and hopefully some more in the very near future going to be joining us. But for right now, we have the main man. What's up, Jay McLovin? How you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing well, and we're going to talk about this game that just happened in a minute. But, hey, I want to say Joe Stevens is going to be on the show tonight. We're talking a lot of basketball with him, and it's going to be awesome to see how it all plays out. He's running a little late, but he's going to be on this show, and we're going to have a good time tonight, Logan.
Yes, sir. We got to keep the fans waiting a little bit, right? That's our main event, former NBA star coming on the show. And our other co-host tonight is no phase tonight, but it's Frankie C. What's going on, buddy? You getting warm over there in New York? All right, good talk, Frank.
My bad. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. What's going on, guys? What's going on? It's been a full week since I've seen and heard you guys.
It's been a minute, man. We've missed you.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. I had I had to recover. It's been a long recovering week, and I'm starting to feel better after the game that we're about to talk about. So
yeah, glad to have you back.
Let's get it started, boys.
Let's do it. Our first topic tonight, as usual, NFL playoff recap and previews. So obviously we got to talk about the game that just happened with the Bengals and the Titans. What a game that was. Bengals ended up getting the win. Last second field goal, 19-16. Jay, give me your initial thoughts on this ball game.
Yeah, so, I said before, the only thing the Titans got to do is play good defense, have a good clock management, and just run the freaking ball. And they did the first. They played good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And they did, for the most part, have good clock management. But what they didn't do, what they got away from, especially the last drive, if you watch the last drive, what they got away from is running the damn ball. Just run the ball. You ain't got to pass. Yeah, look, watch it. You got under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You're like second down, and you're talking about freaking throwing? No. Put the ball at either Henry or Foreman. Either one are capable of getting you yards, and just run the damn ball, Logan. That's all you got to do. And worst case scenario, you get to fourth down, and you got maybe, 30, 40 seconds left, maybe whatever left in the game. Punt it. Live to fight another day. But why are you going to throw the dang ball into coverage when you got 4 or 5 dudes around you? You know what's going to happen. He tips it. He can't get the ball. Guess who gets it? They do. And guess what they do? They go downfield and go to Jamar Chase. And then they kick the field goal and win the game. Why do you get a – I will never understand when your bread and butter is Derrick Henry, who is the baddest man on the planet and running the football, and they have a pretty dude behind him even running the football. Why do you get away from that game plan? I will never understand. But they had two. Their defense sacked, and I got to give credit to Burrow and that Cincinnati team. You guys did great. But, man, when Ryan Tannehill, or excuse me, not Ryan Tannehill, when Joe Burrow is getting sacked 9 times, and you can't come away with the win, what are you going to look at when you look at why they lost? You're going to look straight at why they didn't run the damn football and run the game. At least, if nothing else, Logan, if nothing else, you're giving you're taking seconds off the clock to go to overtime, to live to fight another day. But you're also giving your defense time to rest to come in to fight that battle. Why are you just going to – oh, look, Ryan Tannehill is a game manager. He's not supposed to be the sexy guy that goes 1,000 yards or whatever. He's a game freaking manager. Hello, Trent Dilfer from the Buccaneers. Hello, Joe Flacco from the Ravens. Just run the ball. That's my 2 cents.
Frankie, what are your thoughts on this?
Man, I don't think it mattered if they ran the ball or not, honestly. I feel like, the Cincinnati played great football. Now, the defense of Tennessee, that was fantastic all around. Now, we're talking about 9 sacks, guys. 9 sacks. What the hell?
And 1 pick.
What the hell?
So you don't
9 sacks. Something's got to change. Something has got to change.
It has to, Frankie.
If you, that's got to be a record, guys, right?
It's tied with the playoff record.
Yeah,
but that's most in Tennessee franchise.
It's not that you don't believe in Ryan Tannehill. It's just that your team is a run-first team.
That's true, but let's not forget. And I said this many times. Derrick Henry was out with an ankle injury. Yes, he came back, but I feel like they pushed him too much to come back so quickly. Like, I understand you're in the playoffs and he has so much time off and you thought he was healed, but this was an ankle injury. He's a running back. He was not going to come back the same way he was when he started the season. When we seen it, yes, his cuts was good in the game, but he was slow. Derrick Henry was slow to me. He looked slow. He looked like he wasn't ready. And I'm not putting him down. He's obviously, it's because of the injury. I feel like if Tennessee was going to play like this, then maybe you shouldn't have rushed Derrick Henry to come back, because now what if his ankle's hurting a little bit more? I mean, I had ankle injuries in the time, and you never know. I mean, he says he feels good, but I bet you he's in his locker room right now rubbing his ankle. I bet you he is.
But Frankie, you didn't see any signs of it. There was no limping. There was
of course not. No.
There was no anything. The guy looked like he was running just fine. I didn't really see anything that was injured in him. He was getting through tackles. He had decent runs. He got outside.
And of course that's going to happen, Jay. I mean, he's not going to want to show signs of any hurt or limping around or anything like that.
Even Frankie, but even to your point, even if let's just say Derrick Henry isn't fillable, you still have Ryan Foreman, who's
exactly.
Hey, Ryan Foreman averaged 4.3 yards per game throughout the regular season. Guess what? So did Derrick Henry. They average the same yards per person. Right. So if nothing else, just give the ball to freaking Foreman. Let him do the running.
Exactly. And that's where my point is going, Jay, and I'm glad that you see it. That's exactly what I'm saying. Instead of putting Derrick Henry in there and rushing the man to do what he normally does in the beginning of the season, he was not ready. He was not ready. And I seen that when he was running some of his plays. He was not as fast as he normally was. He's a little bit bigger than if you guys notice. I seen it in his muscle-wise and body tone. He's a little bit bigger.
He said that he was working out, though. Even though he couldn't walk, he was still in the gym lifting weights. They said that pregame, that he was still lifting weights. He was getting big.
Yeah, and all that weight and muscle is going to slow him down. And that's exactly what happened in today's game. And he was slow. And and I'm not going to blame it on his muscle and his weight. I feel like he was slow because of his ankle injury. He wasn't ready. And if they would have ran the ball with someone else, like you said, Tennessee would have had a better shot at getting into field goal range and ending this game on the opposite note.
Yeah, and Anthony Price brings up a good point. There's some places where he stopped running or no stiff arm or tucking, and I get that, man. I get that.
I seen on one of the plays.
But you got other running backs you can use. Your concept or your philosophy of your team is still built around run first, and Tannehill just facilitates a few passes here and there to keep the defense off guard. But you still are a run-first team.
And we're not just going to blame this on Derrick Henry's running. I'm going to blame this mostly on Ryan Tannehill's passing. He was terrible today in the air. I mean, how many picks this guy threw? 3 today?
Three in total.
I mean, the last pick, you can make an argument. You can make an argument where against you can say, well, he's doing the coverage. Okay, he did throw into coverage. But you can also say that the guy he put 2 hands on the ball and didn't come down with it. So I don't know if you blame the receiver. Or
Okay, and you know what you can say? You can say when Joe Burrow threw his interception, that ball hit the ground.
That was a crazy play, though. That was insane.
Right?
That was a crazy play, man. I watched that replay like 20 times. I still can't figure it out.
This was a good game all around, man. That was a good game. I love the fact that Tennessee just came back and tied it up, because when it was 16-6 and they kicked the field goal, my mind was like, okay, Mike Vrabel, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? Like, you're going for the field goal. So that puts to mind like he has confidence in his offense to get a touchdown. But to be honest, after that, after the field goal, when it was 16-9, then it was Cincinnati's turn. That's when the play happened, Logan, the interception. The crazy interception that we're not going to know if it hit the ground or if it actually counted that as an interception. I mean, they obviously said it was, but to me, in my eyes, that it hit the ground. It honestly hit the ground. But hey, the game's over. Bengals still won it. Ended up with 9 sacks. You're in the AFC Championship now. You need to study that offensive line, and that needs to change. Because let me tell you something.
After
Kansas City,
in 31 years, you're going to the AFC Championship?
Hey, I'll tell you this. Hey, I'll tell you what, Frankie, though. I'll tell you what. I got to give Joe Burrow his credit, man.
Yeah, definitely.
He deserves it. Away from the offensive line. The only thing that worries me going into the next round is the offensive line. And if it's the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills, whoever makes it, they're going to look at this game. They're going to look at the offensive line and say, okay, how can we exploit their weakness, which I think is their offensive line.
Also, let's not forget, too, there was early in the game, the Titans went for 2, and they missed it. Yeah. Also, I mean, they had some really weird play calling, and, it led to getting the loss in the ends.
The one amazing play I loved in this game, Ryan Tannehill to A.J. Brown. That pass and touchdown catch.
That pass was off the chain, honestly. I mean, how many people make that catch, number one?
One-hander while pushing a defender away. One hand.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to give my quick thoughts, and I'm going to bring in our 2 special guests here. A crazy ball game. The Bengals, I mean, they had a little bit more heart, man. Joe Burrow showed he was tough. Got sacked 9 times, probably taped up every single limb in his body now. But they're moving on. And it was a great game overall. I feel like the Titans could have really, they could have done some more. But, it is what it is. And guys, give me just a quick one-liner. Who will win the games tonight? Who you got winning these games before we bring in our 2 guests here?
I'm definitely going the Packers. I'm absolutely going with the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers has to cement his legacy. His legacy is on the line right now. I got the Packers winning it just because of the seriousness of this game for Aaron Rodgers.
I've got Rodgers, my MVP. I got him winning. Frankie, you agreeing?
Man, I'm going with my father-in-law's team. I'm going to stick by his side, and I'm going to stick with my man who's a former Patriot, Jimmy G. I got faith. I'm going to go with the 49ers by 3 in this one, guys.
Okay. All right. What about the Chiefs and Bills? I'm gonna go. This is a tough one. It's really tough. I think the Chiefs got the slight edge in this.
It's not tough. It's not tough. It's easy. The Chiefs are going to win. It's easy.
I'm going polar opposite. Opposite, Frankie. I'm going Bills. And you want to know why I'm going Bills? 7 straight times against a Bill Belichick run team. After all the free agents he brought in, and they destroyed them 7 times in a row.
That's right.
I'm going with Josh Allen, and I'm telling you, I think they pull off.
But let me tell you something, Jay.
Let's not forget. Hold on, Frankie. Let's not forget the Bills beat the Chiefs earlier in the season.
That was when the Chiefs weren't clicking.
I don't care, Frankie. They beat them.
But let me tell you something, Jay.
It's going to happen again, Frankie.
Let me tell you something, Jay. You want to make a bet?
Hey, listen, what would Unscripted be without a bet, man? What would Unscripted be without a bet?
Yeah. All right, and then finally, guys, quick thoughts on the Bucks and Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. I just think the Bucks are a little bit too banged up.
Right, I think Aaron Darnold and I think Von Miller is too much for Tom Brady's team to handle.
You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy.
Tom Brady being forced out of the pocket and being uncomfortable and not able to operate, just like the 28-3 first half Atlanta game in the Super Bowl. They controlled Tom by getting out of the pocket and being uncomfortable. Now they let up in the second half, and that's their fault. And I think as long as the Rams don't let up in the second half, they can do the same thing.
Jay, this was just picks, man. We didn't need a whole story. This is picks. I'm going with the Buccaneers. You never turn down the goal. As a Patriot fan, I know a lot about Tom Brady, and because of what the Rams did to him earlier in the season, there's no way in hell that Tom Brady's going to let that happen again.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got Leonard Fournette coming back, boys. He's coming off the IR, and he's back. So Tom Brady's going to win this one. Sorry, Matthew Stafford, you got your win, but you're out of here.
All right, let's bring on our first guest real quick so I can give his quick picks for this game before we move on to some basketball. The original making his return. Big shout, Rob. Streit, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, we back.
Nice to see you, my friend.
All right, what's going on?
What is going on?
Nice to have you back, buddy. Give us your picks for these games here real quick before we bring on Mr. Joe Stevens.
I missed that face. Just by the way, I'm sorry. I missed that face, Rob. You look real good, man.
Looking good. Looking slim and trim.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I think the Packers win tonight, and then tomorrow I'll go with the Buccaneers over the Rams.
Yeah,
We played them already this year, earlier in the year, so I think they'll make the adjustments and play better at home. So I'll take the Bucs in that one, and the Bills and Chiefs. I don't know. That's a tough one. It's really a toss-up. I guess I'll go with the. I don't know. It's tough to win in Arrowhead twice in a year. So I'm gonna go with I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here. I don't know.
Yeah, my boy. Right. Yeah, we don't go with the Bills. We AFC East, man. We don't go with rivals. Buffalo.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's bring on our special guest, former NBA player for the Vancouver Grizzlies and the Houston Rockets, Mr. Joe Stevens. How you doing tonight, sir?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, it's good to have you back, Joe. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. I know you're a busy man and you got lots of things going on, but I appreciate you taking some time out to talk some basketball with us, man.
Yeah, I got a dip, man, pretty quick. I got some family that popped in town from Austin that we weren't even expecting, so I'm late, man. I had to run out and grab some food for them. My sister and my brother-in-law and my nieces popped in, man.
Yep, all good.
We'll keep it quick.
Yeah, we'll go through these topics for you, but pleasure having you on the show here. So, guys, we're going to talk about this one. Lucia Harris, the first, at the time of this recording, the only woman drafted by the NBA, passed away earlier this week at the age of 66. So, Mr. Steven, give me your thoughts on this trailblazer, right? The queen of basketball, everyone called her. Just a legend in the sport.
Very, the crazy part is, man, checking out at such a young age, man. I promise you, man, I've seen more death in the past 2 years than I have in my entire life combined. God bless her, man. She was a pioneer. I can't imagine the courage that it took in that day and age. That was pre-Me Too. So they didn't give a fuck back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you're a woman, they would light your ass up. And man, for her to have the courage to step out like that. Can we curse on here?
Yeah.
You're fine.
Be free. You can say everything you want to say. Say damn. We don't like damn.
Grayson Allen's a dickhead. Let me say that first. Grayson Allen's a dickhead. I just saw where the kid from Chicago, from
Caruso,
is out with a fractured wrist because of Grayson Allen, man. I hope they fuck him up the next time he plays.
Yeah, I have a boy, Mike Hughes, that would agree with you. Mike Hughes is from Chicago. He's one of the guys on our network, and he feels exactly the same way you do, Joe. He's going to mess him up.
He's a stand-up guy. The dude plays his ass off. He's a man. You love Caruso as a teammate, and this dude literally breaks his damn wrist, man. Fucking great. And Grayson Allen's dirty from college, man.
I'm about to say this isn't something new. He's been doing this since his college
he's been doing that since he was at Duke. Let's move on to the next topic.
All right, let's move on. Let's keep some current topics here. Russell Westbrook, man, he got benched the other night in the fourth quarter, and obviously he said he was upset, he was disappointed. But with the way he played this year, Mr. Stevens, are you surprised by this move?
Russell Westbrook? Hey, man.
I'd say Frankie knows all about it.
Tragic Johnson. Listen, man, the guy is past his prime, still has the heart of a lion. But at some point in time, ego has to subside, and you have to realize this is who I am now. Right. And the guys that stick around the league for, 10, 12, 15, 18 years realize like, hey, man, I may have to come off the bench. You know, there's a reason Kevin Durant didn't want to play with this guy. You remember the times when they were in OKC together and Durant would go 15, 20 points in a row. Then this asshole would just come down out of the blue and just jack a shot. Like, hey, man, Durant's on fire. Why the fuck are you shooting?
Yeah.
And that's my point. And that's really the point I've been raising, Joe. Like, let me ask you this. Because, you know, even with the prime, even a prime Westbrook with Durant, I don't think he's the right fit for this team ever. And I don't know why LeBron. Do we blame LeBron for this?
For anybody trying to win a championship, you know, LeBron's got a great heart and God bless him. He's probably got a big ego too and thinks I can literally win with anybody. But this guy, you cannot win a championship with this guy. I'm sorry. He will not take a back seat. He will not try to play a traditional point guard game. This motherfucker shot the other night, and I was like ducking at home. that shit hit the top of the backboard and it hit no rim. I'm like, man, damn, dude, you a pro basketball player. Go get some reps, and you a guard and you can't shoot.
That's gotta be hurting his mental attitude, right? It's his toughness. It's gotta be hurting him.
He should be on suicide watch, man.
And with that, if the Lakers were to trade for Russell Westbrook, who do you think they should target?
I'm gonna tell you a great fit, and it will be one fantastic swap.
Please tell me, because I'm a Laker fan and I need this.
DeMar DeRozan.
Oh.
Yeah, but you know Chicago's not going to give him up, though. That's the downside. Chicago ain't going to give him up.
Not for this motherfucker, but they would have this. But the problem is because of the money thing. But I think money, they probably make about the same. And DeMar DeRozan knows who he is, right? He's a mid-range dude. He ain't gonna jack up a bunch of threes. Russell Westbrook is in his I don't know what year, and he still doesn't know who he is. Yep. Well, let me put it like this: who he thinks he is and who he is don't align.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and the thing about it is, Joe, let me ask you this. I've been saying all along, do you think that, look, the money works, could they make a trade for Ben Simmons? Because now that Daryl Morey has softened his stance on what he's going to call for Ben Simmons because of how well Joe Embiid is playing, do you think now that he might look at a Russell Westbrook for Ben Simmons type of trade?
Man, you got to get something for. Look, I like the trade for the Lakers. I don't like the trade for anybody that gets Westbrook. You know,
I don't blame.
Maybe even like a De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento.
I've been telling y'all that. Y'all even
that's a good trade too.
He's got to go somewhere. He's got to go to a small market team where he's the guy where he can go crazy and dribble real fast, get a triple-double every night, and he's the guy shooting 20% from the three, and it really doesn't matter because the team sucks. That's the kind of place he needs to go.
Hey, are we kind of talking about maybe a John Wall for Westbrook?
I love that.
It's been brought up.
I don't want Westbrook in Houston, but I'm just saying, I mean, we're in rebuild mode. They take on Russell Westbrook, tell him you got to come off the bench or sit. We're still sitting John Wall anyway. We might as well sit Russell.
Can John Wall play in LA though? That motherfucker thinks he's OG Bobby Johnson, man.
I don't know.
I love it, Joe. I love it. That's good. I love that.
He'll fuck around and go to LA and start gangbanging and shit. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen, man. Had a whole conference shooting up the crypto.com arena, man.
All right, well, Joe, do you have any final thoughts just on the NBA in general, just how basketball's been going on teams you used to play for? And we'll let you go spend some family time, enjoy some good food.
The Rockets suck.
Yeah.
Most of the players, I'm the old hating ass dude. Most of these guys are soft as baby shit. When I turn the games on, I don't know who any of these guys are. It looks like a rec league game with a bunch of young college kids that don't know how to play basketball. But overall, the league is in good shape, man. I think that Adam Silver is doing a hell of a job. We need more African Americans in leadership positions. You got too many brothers running around to not have that many front office guys. It still looks like a plantation to me, much like it did when I played. I think you have to have more security in NBA arenas. I will say this until I die. It's not a matter of if, but when something's going to happen in one of these arenas. One, because they allow the fans to say any fucking thing they want to the players, and you're in such close proximity with these guys. It's just a matter of time before you have some kind of melee. So I think they need to do something. I know part of the appeal for this game is the fact that you can get close enough to trip one of the guys. But at the same time, I watch these games and I'm kind of like watching. You notice nowadays there's a lot of interaction and back and forth with players chirping at fans. Kyrie Irving the other night, Russell Westbrook the other night. Steph Curry ain't gonna bust a grape in a food fight, but he was chirping with one of the fans the other night. And I'm just kind of noticing it's like, to me, I'm like, ooh, this could something could happen, man. So just that's my take on the league, man. But it's football season, man. I'm gonna watch these playoff games tonight and drink me a little of that whiskey you gave me, Jason.
I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, just two fast questions. Number one, do you think Memphis will overtake the West? And number two, how do you feel talking about the African American community overtaking? How do you feel about Robert F. Smith hopefully taking over ownership of the Denver Broncos, being the first black owner ever in an NFL franchise?
Yeah, but he's a big black white guy, man. He
Hey,
we need a real bro. I need to know what's in his playlist, man. He ain't no real man. You know. What's the question, Jason?
Oh, the second question is about Memphis. Do you think Memphis can overcome the West and the Phoenix Suns and all those and possibly get into the finals? With
a healthy Ja Morant, but the way he plays, man, I just worry, dude. He's so small and he plays so high above the rim. I have major health concerns for him, man. But if he stays healthy, anything is possible. That motherfucker is electric.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties here, it looks like, but thank you, sir, Mr. Stevens, for coming on the show. A guy who I know Jay told us before you came on that you used to beat him up in basketball back in the day. So it's a pleasure having you on. We love having you back on our future date.
He held his own, man. If you went too hard on when you take your knees out, man.
Hey, it's true because I knew I couldn't shoot, but if I could take out your knees, at least I can say I played defense.
Jason was a true military man. He would hack your arm off if you went too hard.
Hey, go. Joe. Hey, I know you got to run, man, but thank you again for coming on the show, brother. I appreciate you.
Logan, Jay, Frankie, Rob, appreciate you guys having me, man. Happy New Year, and thank you guys for the opportunity, man.
Yes, sir. Love to have you back on.
I wasn't that good in the league. I suck, man. Look my stats up, dude. I was terrible.
Hey, you got to come back on the show.
You did not suck. You did not suck. What it was is the Houston Rockets did not give you time. They want to sign you to 10-day contracts. Fuck that shit. You deserve years.
I was behind Clyde Drexler, man, but I had the best seat in the house, man.
Yeah, man, you made it there. You made it there.
Hey, you got to come back on, Joe. Joe, you got to come back on some other time. When you have
Look at that throne chair. Look at that chair. That throne. Man,
my wife hates it, man, but I just got it. I'm like, every king has to have.
No, you know what? Hey, listen, hold on. Hey, let me tell you, when you go to law school and you complete law school, they give you a big freaking chair like that. That's a judge's chair right there. He just don't have the robe on right now.
This is a slap a bitch chair.
And on that note,
thank you, sir.
Listen.
Let me just say that's probably the most entertaining guest we've had on the show.
Hey, listen. Hey, he said that's a slap a bitch chair. I'm like, yep, okay.
His wife will be watching this later.
Oh yeah.
Hey, his wife ain't no joke, man. Hey, you know she's like, Joe. Oh.
All right. Let's go back.
No, you can't say that on TV.
Yeah. All right, let's go back, guys. Let's give some. Let's talk more a little bit about Lucia Harris, since we didn't get everyone's thoughts on this woman. But Frankie, I'll let you go first, man. What did you think about this untimely passing? So I mean, this Miss Harris did a ton for the sport of basketball.
Yeah, it was really sad to see her go. It was really big news to the NBA world. It was, kind of like Kobe, but in a female version to us. She was great. The first woman to be drafted into the NBA, and pregnancy took that away from her. I mean, it did say that she didn't, want to go and participate in the NBA, but also she got pregnant before even trying out to play for the I believe I'm looking it up right now. The Jazz.
Yeah, she
It was the
Jazz.
New Orleans Jazz at the time.
Yep.
But I'm also seeing that she wasn't the first. It was also Denise Long, but Denise Long got rejected to go into the NBA compared to Louisa. So Louisa is technically the first. But man, it was sad to see her go. It's and then honestly, I hope we have someone kind of like her now in the day, so we can see something change. Because I honestly want to see some of these women play in the NBA. I feel like some of these women
They
in the
could.
WNBA play better than some of the men in the NBA. I bet you the Lakers could get someone in the WNBA to play better than Russell Westbrook.
They can get someone from the Sparks. No doubt. All right, Big Shot Rob, what do you think about this, man? What were your thoughts on Ms. Harris passed away? Oh, you muted there, Rob. There you go.
Yeah, so I just heard about this now. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, it's definitely sad. She was the first and only woman drafted by the NBA. Passed away at 66. So yeah, definitely sad. I didn't hear about this until you guys mentioned it because I didn't really, look at the topics or anything like that. But yeah, definitely sad.
Gone way too soon, though.
Yep.
Jay, what do you think about this, man?
The only reason you didn't, and the only reason she's not more heard of, right? I mean, let's be honest. I really didn't, know much about her either until we started researching this topic. And, the only thing that kept her out of the NBA, was the fact that she was pregnant. Had she not been pregnant, we'd probably be knowing all about this woman. I mean, honestly. I mean, she probably would have made the team, probably went on to do great things. I mean, the pregnancy just kept her from actually joining the New Orleans Jazz team. I mean, she was the first woman to score a point in the Women's Basketball Association in the Olympics. She was averaging 26 points and 15 rebounds, shot 63%. I mean, this is a woman that we would have definitely, if she would not been pregnant and actually went to the New Orleans Jazz and played, I mean, where would basketball be right now? How much more could basketball be for the women had she played in the NBA? I think it's just a tragedy that she didn't actually get to play. Despite the fact that I know she, would rather have her family, but the sacrifice that was made was just huge.
The real question is how much she would have got paid.
Yeah,
right. I mean, hey, you're right. You're right. It's another issue.
Yeah, and whenever I was doing my research, I did find there is a short, about 30-minute long documentary about Miss Harris called "The Queen of Basketball." It's on YouTube. I think it's free to watch, so I will definitely check that out, learn more about her. But went to Delta State, Division II college. It's actually one of the schools that my former college plays at with West Georgia. They play a lot. So she was a legend at Delta State, guys. She finished with 2,981 career points. That's good for about 25, 26 points per game. 1,662 rebounds, which is 14.4 rebounds. And she graduated with 15 Delta State team, single game, and career records. So absolute legend. Like you said, she did great for Olympics as well. I think got a silver medal. Also got a gold medal in the Mexico City Olympics. So in the Pan American Games. And like you said, someone that just needs to get more attention. And that's the kind of the sad part, right? Is that sometimes we don't really see how important someone is until it's too long. But
let's not forget, Logan. Let's not forget that in 1992 she was enshrined in the Naismith Hall of Fame. She's in the Hall of Fame as the first African American woman.
Yep, and she's also in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame also. But a legendary career that I hope we were able to shed some light on. And I'm going to go check out that documentary after our show and learn more about Ms. Harris. But let's go back to Russell Westbrook being upset in the fourth quarter. Rob, what are your thoughts on this, man? Well, I mean, what's your thoughts on Westbrook been this whole season? We haven't heard much from you about how the Lakers did, but what did you think about this? Was it the right move?
Yeah, man, it's definitely disappointing. I thought Russell going to LA was going to help the team out. It was exciting for him to go back to LA, where he's from. But yeah, I mean, the guy can't shoot. He's still the same player, he always was. I thought, him going to LA was more about LeBron wanting him there. And I thought, LeBron could make it work, but, obviously it's not working. But you got to understand the Lakers don't have Anthony Davis right now. He's their second best player, behind LeBron. And, once they get Anthony Davis back, I think that'll definitely help the Lakers out. Maybe that'll take some of the pressure off of Westbrook. But you got to understand the Lakers don't have AD right now.
Right.
And these guys aren't playing together. So I mean, once they get AD back, it's a different team. But the thing is, AD, he needs to stay healthy. If AD can't stay healthy, it's not going to work because I don't think Russell Westbrook can be your second best player and you can win. I think AD really needs to be the one. LeBron's getting to the point in his career where he needs to be 2, and then Russell Westbrook should be 3. I mean, LeBron's carrying the load right now. He's leading the league in scoring, he's second leading the league in scoring, behind I think Durant. So, I mean, you want LeBron to be fresh for the playoffs. That's the main thing. And hopefully AD can get back healthy and he'll take some of the pressure off of Westbrook, and he'll be able to do better. If not, they're going to trade him. I don't know what they're going to trade him for, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
I will say it was glad for me to see that a former NBA player was recognizing the trade I brought up last week to you, Jay, saying that he needs to get shipped for De'Aaron Fox. I know they ain't going to do that. The Kings already said they're not going to move on from him. I don't know why, because I mean they're not getting much better anyways. Right. But Rob, to kind of counteract what you said, I mean the Lakers were a 500 below team even with Anthony Davis. I don't know if he's the key piece right now. I get they're getting healthier right now. I mean, I like that Monk's starting to play a little bit better, and they still can't play defense to save their lives. So I think that with Davis, I mean, obviously you are going to be a better team, and it will take some of the pressure off of Russell. But I don't think that's still the main piece you need. I still think they need to make some moves at the trade deadline with, obviously you're going to get rid of probably Bazemore, Jordan, Ellington, maybe at least those 3 guys for sure, I would think. And whoever else, maybe Horton Tucker, Surprise, or Reeves. But that's about all you can trade, right? Because no one's going to want Carmelo. No one's going to – I mean, you might want Westbrook, but they're going to have to eat all the money. And they're not going to get rid of Davis or LeBron, obviously. So you don't have a whole lot to play with. But, I mean, I think it was the right move. I mean, Russell hasn't looked good in recent weeks. I mean, we talked about him last week having a 0 turnover game. We were praising the heavens for him. And – I mean, it just seems like he has a good game. Then he has a game where I've never seen it before, but he hits the top and the bottom of the backboard on the same shot. His confidence isn't there. He doesn't look – I don't know what it is, guys, but he hasn't looked right really the whole season. And hopefully he can get out of this slump, but I don't know if he can do it. But
I will say this. Hey, to point out, Westbrook yesterday – now listen, this is going against the Orlando Magic. The same Orlando Magic that gave up 50 points at 27 minutes – to Embiid, but he did
also Jay, the Magic are the worst team in the league right now.
I mean, so you got to take this with a grain of salt, is what I'm saying. So yesterday he scored 18 points with 11 rebounds, 7 assists on 8 of 17 from field goal, 0 from 1 at the 3-point line versus the Magic. So I still take that with a grain of salt because I want to see what he does against the actual teams that matter. But he did right the ship against a subpar team. So I don't know where we go with that. I think the jury is really kind of spoken on Westbrook, and I think that the team is just better off without him. Be honest with you.
At Westbrook, we look at the triple doubles, then we don't look at the turnovers because he has all those triple doubles and all the stats.
Right,
turnovers don't look too hot either.
Yeah. And then the thing, that guy said DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, I think DeMar DeRozan would have been.
That would have been a perfect fit.
Good in LA because he's from there.
They could have got him too.
I think DeMar DeRozan wants to be the guy on his team.
They should have made a hard push for DeMar, man. I don't think they pushed hard enough for him.
He doesn't want to pick with LeBron. So
I think Jay, you're the one that brought it up that for the price that they're paying Westbrook right now, they could have got like Buddy Hield and 2 other players that are doing a whole lot. I think you said Buddy Hield, DeRozan, and someone else. I think kept Caruso maybe.
I mean, they gave up a lot to bring in this guy, and he's just
he's getting paid, I think, 40 something million right now. He's getting paid, I think, close to 50 million next year. So the price is only going to go up. So now is definitely the time to move him if anyone wants him. But Frankie, this is your team. What did you think? Was this the right move? Would you just a hypothetical? Would you have Russ come off the second unit, maybe the 6th man? Frankie. I love how
My bad, I was muted. I'm literally talking, and I'm over here like, oh, I'm muted. Yeah, this is simple as that. Yes, he deserved to be on the bench because let me tell you something. This guy is going to cost Frank Vogel his job. Honestly,
that's future topic, Frankie. You're going to segue right into it in a minute, but we have that coming up.
It really is, guys. He's really going to cost him his job.
Look at that next slide.
Oh, It is that.
There we go, Frankie.
All right. Well, since we're into this one, I'll start it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, he's gonna make it to the end of the season. Yes. I don't see it happening. I don't ever see the Lakers ever firing a coach mid-season. I always see them.
D'Antoni though, didn't they? Did D'Antoni?
Yeah, but Mike D'Antoni was a different situation. It was like heated. It was I know. But I feel like the reason they fired D'Antoni midway was because it was a heated rival between D'Antoni and the ownership of the Lakers. Compared to Frank Vogel, there's mutual respect on both sides. And with the Lakers season right now, it's not Frank Vogel's fault, honestly. I mean, yes, he lost key players for defensively and stuff, but you can't blame the man, right? I mean, you got these players who won a championship literally like 3 years ago that want to make more money because they know the talent that they got. So it's not Frank Vogel. You can't, go on your knees and beg these players to re-sign. I mean, he did push for Alex Caruso to come back, but even Caruso said that the Lakers' money offer wasn't nowhere near compared to what the Bulls offered him. So, I mean, I see Frank Vogel lasting this season. If the Lakers can turn it around now and make the playoffs, well, we're in the playoff picture right now, but at least do good come playoff time. I'll see Frank Vogel coming back next year. But like I said, this isn't Frank Vogel's fault, honestly. Russell Westbrook needs to change his shit around. It's pissing me off. Yes, he had a great game, but like what Jay said, it was against the Orlando Magics, the worst team in the
We could beat the
NBA.
Orlando Magic.
Exactly.
Exactly. Could beat the Orlando Magic.
Anyone. I'm pretty sure my daughter can beat the Orlando Magics.
You're right, and that's what I'm saying. And I think here's the deal for me. For Frank Vogel, Frank Vogel's done great things. Like you said, Frankie, to your point, he got them a championship. So he had to have done something right. Here's the problem. The problem is with LeBron. LeBron brought in all these guys, and it didn't work out. So now they're going to look at Frank Vogel. And here's the thing. Brian was not exactly happy when Frank Vogel benched Westbrook. Matter of fact, he was actually really upset about it. So I think that as long as Braun is there, making these decisions without a real general manager and keeping Braun in check, Frank Vogel is just going to be a casualty of LeBron.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and
I don't think he makes it, Frankie. I don't think he makes it to the end. I think a few more losses, and I think they're looking for somebody else, to be honest with you.
Rob, what you got?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They play the Heat tomorrow night, so that's going to be a tough game for them. I think we're going to beat them. We already played. We played them in L.A. We played them in LA earlier this year. You guys beat us. So
Rob's been gone so long, I forgot he was a Heat fan.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Miami. I'll say it for Miami. Going to beat the Lakers.
It's okay. Listen, that'll be totally fine if Miami Heat win. You want to know why? Because I will forever say to Rob that we beat you for the championship. So
yeah, I know. I knew that was.
He's going to hold that in his head.
Rob said when his team's in the playoffs and you're on the couch, he don't want to hear nothing about it.
Yeah.
It only matters when you win the ring, Jay, and you wouldn't know nothing about that.
No, actually, about 93 and 95 I would, but that was a long time ago.
I wasn't even born then, Jay. Just let that sink in.
Shut your mouth, Logan. Nobody asked you, Atlanta Braves.
Right.
You hate it when one of your co-hosts is Atlanta Braves and they beat the Astros, and all you can say is "Shut up! I don't want to hear nothing more about it."
No, you know Jay's upset when the rest of your co-hosts have recently felt championship, experience, and he hasn't in over 25 years.
That's not true.
No, that's not true. The Astros. Sorry, the Astros cheated. You guys one up a couple years ago. My bad.
Astros in parentheses.
And take the championship away, though. At least they got one.
No, you got lucky that the Commissioners.
Yep.
Yeah, they're nice.
Hey, let me be quiet. Let us have our damn championship. We earned it.
Earned it. Yeah, you worked real hard for it.
Hey, we did. Hey, listen, that's a whole other topic for another show. We can debate all night on that one.
Yeah, that could be just a whole.
Rob, do you think Frank Vogel lasts to the end of the season?
What you got?
I think he might, and then they might get rid of him. I mean, they make the. We'll see what happens. You never know. I mean, they can make the playoffs and do something. You got to understand. LeBron has that experience going in the playoffs. I think, if they get in the playoffs and they're hot at the right time, you never know what could happen. So, anything's possible. But if they don't make the playoffs, then yeah, he's definitely gone.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rob. I don't think they're going.
if they make the playoffs and they do something, then maybe they keep him. But if they don't make the playoffs, he's gone for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you and Frankie on this. I don't see them firing him mid-season because there's already enough chaos in that locker room and on the court. You don't need any more with a brand new head coach, right? Even if they just bump up an assistant or whoever. I don't think they need that right now. I don't think it's Frank Vogel's fault for what's going on right now. He wasn't the one who signed off on all these decisions. That was the front office. That was the Genie Bus and Company and the GM. So, I mean, he's just doing the best he can, right? I mean, obviously, he won a championship with the Lakers a couple of seasons ago. And they did, ever since he's been there, they've been a good team for the most part. It's just this year they have not been able to gel. They can't play defense. Vogel's a defensive-minded coach. He's pulling his hair out each and every night. They're giving up 100-plus points a game.
You can see it. Look at that picture.
I picked that picture because he's upset because the Lakers gave up, 105 points to the Orlando Magic, who have 8 wins on the season. So, we all talked about this coming in that they weren't going to play any defense, but they'd have to outscore you every night. But when Davis is out, when Westbrook's shooting 25% from the field goal, and everyone else can't hit a shot to save their lives, it's pretty hard to do that.
Can I point something out real quick? Before the Lakers was to hire Frank Vogel, do you know who they were looking at?
Fizdale, right?
Jason Kidd. They were going to sign Jason Kidd as a head coach. Instead, they put him as an assistant and hired Frank Vogel as the head coach. And I just want to point out, since Jason Kidd left, because Jason Kidd was honestly the second assistant. He was behind Frank Vogel. He was honestly, standing up there talking with the players and stuff like that with Frank Vogel. Now, do you guys think Jason Kidd leaving the coaching staff to go head coach with Mavericks, does that put a little bit of effect of it also with Frank Vogel? Because now he knows he has to do it by himself.
That's a tough question because, Jason Kidd, I think the Mavs are the 5 seed right now, maybe 5 or 6 in the West.
The Mavs are the 5 seed. They're the 5 seed.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good right now. But I don't even know if Jason Kidd could have done it with this team, to be honest with you. I don't know if Greg Popovich could have done it with this team.
I think when the chemistry is just off, because Russell Westbrook is all about Russell Westbrook. He's not about the team first. He's about him first. He's not a true point guard in that sense.
Jason Kidd would have never brought on Russell Westbrook.
He wouldn't.
I don't think he would have. I don't think Jason Kidd would have. I don't think he would support such a thing.
Exactly. Which comes to my point. I feel like Jason Kidd probably would have done better, and honestly. Now, I'm not going to put Frank Vogel down. He brought me a championship back in 2020. But, I feel like Jason Kidd, I don't know. Guys.
It's hard to manage a team. It's hard to manage a team when Braun is so Braun.
Right.
How do you manage a team when you have that type of player? Because that management is going to give him whatever. So the coach, Frank Vogel, does not have a power base to coach from because Braun has all the power. I don't know how you win with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Rob, what were you going to say, though?
Yeah, even though the Lakers got that championship in 2020, you got to remember that was in the bubble. And Giannis criticized the Heat that year because, the Heat beat the Bucks in the playoffs, and he was saying...
I know you were heat over that comment, Rob.
Anyone could have won in the bubble. Giannis he wasn't ready. He was a baby.
Right. Yeah, but they won last year.
So you got it last year.
Giannis, he won a championship last year, so he got that off his back. Yeah. I'm just saying, that championship that year gave the Lakers time to rest, and AD and LeBron and those guys had time to rest and get ready. So, if COVID would have never happened, who knows if they still would have won a championship that year. Who knows what would have happened? We'll never know. But, it is what it is. Every team that made the playoffs had a chance to win the championship. And, the Lakers, they obviously won it. The Heat, my team, we at least got to the finals and we lost. It was a good series. So, it is what it is. It's nonetheless, it's still a championship. It's not like, you can say it's not a championship. A lot of guys will criticize it, like Skip Bayless and those guys will say, because it was in the bubble and there was a stoppage and, you can't help it that, like COVID and that happened, man. So nonetheless, it's still a championship, even though you can put an asterisk next to it, whatever you want.
So basically, who won the Super Bowl for COVID in the NFL? Was it the Buccaneers last year?
Yeah, the Bucs won it last year. Yeah,
but you know what? Let's be honest.
Can't criticize that.
Hey,
so yeah.
Hey,
but yet,
Hey, the only coach that could win with this Lakers team currently constructed like it is, the only coach that would even have a remote possibility of coaching this team and getting a win would be Phil Jackson. Only guy.
I love you for saying that. I love you for saying that.
He's the only one that can manage these kinds of personalities and bring them together under solidarity. He's the only one. And I don't even think Phil Jackson can do it. I'm just saying the only coach that can really manage these personalities and get them to do, only because what he did with Rodman and all those personalities would be Phil Jackson type of coach. You have to have that Zen master quality in order to bring these guys together under one cohesive unit.
Yeah, the thing about LeBron's never played with a great coach like that in his career. Like Michael at least had that, it would have been nice if LeBron had like Pat Riley or Phil Jackson, one of those guys. LeBron's never played. LeBron's always been the coach of the team, or LeBron runs things.
Because Phil Jackson ain't gonna let Bron just go do whatever he wants. Phil Jackson's gonna bring him under control. He's gonna get him under control right quick.
Yeah, Michael Jordan had a great head coach. Kobe. Those guys played with great head coaches in the triangle offense. So yeah.
All right, let's keep moving, guys. The Warriors got beat by the Pacers. They got the game winner last night, so you got to get a bounce back. But are you worried about the Warriors? You worried about Steph Curry? How do you think they're doing so far with Clay back and whatnot? Rob, I'll let you kick things off.
Yeah, that was just one bad game. I think they'll get it together and start playing better. I mean, you can have a bad game here and there. I didn't think they would beat the Warriors after beating the Lakers the night before. I thought they would be like high off coming off that win against the Lakers, but they were able to go into Golden State and beat the Pacers, and they won by 3 in overtime. So yeah, that was a pretty impressive win by Indiana. But I'm not worried about that. The Warriors still look like a good team. Them and Phoenix look like the two best teams in the West. Mm-hmm. And it happens. You're not going to win every game. I mean, you're going to lose certain games here and there. Stuff happens, and the Warriors will be fine. I mean, they just got Clay back. They got to get him back in the mix, and they'll be fine. They got Steph Curry. They got Klay Thompson. Draymond Green was out. They're missing guys. So I mean, you're going to lose games here and there. It's a long season, so they'll be all right.
Yeah, the Warriors are built by the 3-point line. Let's just be honest. They're built by the 3-point line. And they were rushing their shots. They didn't really take the time. They didn't take good care of the ball. And that really was their downfall. They went 9 of 42 from the line. Klay Thompson was 0 of 7. And even Curry said he has to do a better job shooting the ball. So when and that's the thing. That's the ticket. I think you look at the Pacers. They didn't have Brogdon. They didn't have Gerald Levert. They didn't have Sabonis. And yet they found a way to beat this Golden State Warriors fully loaded team. That should tell you something like, hey, maybe there is – I'm not saying by any stretch that the Pacers are better than the Warriors, but it does show weaknesses in the team as of right now, and that is they rush their shots sometimes, and I think that they have a hard time converting at the 3-point line at times. Not all the time, but at times, and it really showed tonight. Now, you can make the argument that Klay Thompson, is still working his way back into the rotation, and he is. But when you go 9 of 42 at the 3-point line, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And for this Warriors team, which will make the playoffs easily, they're going to have to shoot better than 9 of 42. They can't have nights like this going forward and expect to be at the top of their game.
Frankie, real quick, we'll let you answer this, and we'll have you head out for the night. What do you think about this? Are you worried about the Warriors or just nothing?
No, I'm not worried about this at all. The Warriors are still the Warriors. You have some games where you lose, and you have some games where you win. You win some, you lose some. It's just a great part on the Pacers' part, winning a game against my Lakers and then coming over and beating the high seed Warriors. It should put some momentum on them moving forward into the season. It's still early for them. It's a lot of games left for them to turn it around and make it to the playoffs. But I'm not worried about the Warriors at all. Like I said a little while ago, you have some where you lose games and you have some where you win some. The Warriors, it wasn't their night that game. It wasn't their night. And like you said, they lost it in overtime. So they could have easily won it, but they didn't due to a last second 3-point made by the Pacers. So I mean, I'm not like you never know. You never know. I'm not worried about the Warriors at all.
All right. Well, thank you for your contributions tonight, Frankie. We'll have you get on out of here so you can go to work.
Thanks, guys.
Good, brother.
See you guys on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm not worried about the Warriors. I mean, obviously, like Jay said, they're a shooting team first. If they don't make their shots, they're usually not going to win. But whenever they're healthy, man, whenever they get Wiseman back, they got Clay back. He's still working his way back in the rotation. I mean, they're still going to be in the playoffs, right? And I feel like they're really going to hit a peak. They're really going to hit a good stride come probably the end of the regular season. And, man, the Warriors in the playoffs, man, they're a dangerous team. So,
but given Steph Curry's, I guess, struggles at the 3-point line, I think this has got to weigh at least a little bit on his MVP shot.
Yeah, I think he's not my MVP at the moment, but
yeah.
I feel like he could always work his way back. But for now, I think he's out of talks right now. But, all right, let's keep it moving on, guys. Next topic. All-Star votes come to an end, I believe, tonight. And right now, surprise, surprise, LeBron is leading. I mean, he's probably led ever since he's been in the league. Let's be real. Probably 90% of the seasons. So, what do y'all think about that?
Yeah, right now, Braun is at about 6.7, I think, million votes, and I think Curry is just right there behind him. But I think he's obviously the clear front runner. Braun definitely is going to get he's going to become the captain. He should become the captain of the All-Star team. And I think this is another feather in his cap going into the MVP voting. So I don't know if this will have an effect on the MVP voting, but obviously it looks good for him gathering up the fan support and getting that feather and the captain of at least the West.
Rob?
Yeah, the All-Star game's in Cleveland, man. So I mean, of course he's going to be the leading vote getter, man. It's in Cleveland.
Even another reason.
Yeah, that's another reason. But LeBron's popular. He's still the face of the NBA, until he retires.
Yep.
Once he retires, somebody else will take over, maybe like Giannis or Steph Curry. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at all LeBron's, the leading vote getter in the All-Star game is in Cleveland. So, of course, they want him to be the leading vote getter and, do his thing in Cleveland. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to win, the MVP at the All-Star game. He's done it before, but, Cleveland still has a place in his heart. That was a team that drafted him. He's from Akron, Ohio. He brought them their first ever championship, so it is a big deal. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, like you said, it's in Cleveland. It's LeBron James. I mean, for as many people as hate him, there's probably 3 times, 5 times, 10 times as many that love him. So I'm not surprised he's the leading vote getter. And whenever all the players get announced, we will, of course, cover here on the show and see which teams they go to in the ever so high-scoring All-Star game. At least they're going to have this year. At least, hopefully, they had the game last year. I don't know if they're going to have All-Star Weekend. I hope they do. I missed All-Star Weekend last year.
I hope they do because I missed that.
I missed that stuff, man. I like the skills challenges. I don't care for the skills challenge that much, but the 3-point and the dunk contests are always fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
dunk contest isn't the same though. I mean, the 3-point shootout is good. You don't have the big guys entering the dunk contest. That's why. So.
Yeah, you got a good point. But also, let's not forget the Celebrity All-Star Game. Full of guys you may or may not have heard of.
Yeah.
All right. Are we looking past the Dallas Mavericks? Talked about them a little bit earlier. Jay said they're the 5 seed. And with Luca and a bunch of other guys, they're still hanging in there. Jason Kidd is the head coach. Rob,
they're 26. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah, Rob, I'll let you go and just kick things off, buddy.
Yeah, the Mavs, I mean, they have Jason Kidd as their head coach. And, Jason Kidd, he was a good player. He played in Dallas, also played in Phoenix. So he definitely has experience, and definitely he's a good mentor for Luka. Mm-hmm. So, no, I think the Mavs have a good team. They went into Memphis and beat the Grizzlies, who were like red hot. And then they had won like 10 or 11 in a row. So, yeah, I mean, the Mavs have a good team, and when Luka can stay healthy and they have all their guys, I mean, they'll definitely be a tough team to beat for sure.
Jay,
yeah. I apologize for stepping over there, Rob. I apologize. 26-20, number 5 seed. Porzingis got 20 points the other night and 8 rebounds. The forward position with Finney-Smith and Kleber seems to be kind of an issue for them. I think Kleber averaged, Finney-Smith, I believe, averaged 7 points, something like that. Or I think he had 10, and I believe Kleber had 7. Either way, they didn't have a whole lot of points. They really didn't have a whole lot in the rebound category either. So I think that the forward position for the Dallas Mavericks has got to start stepping their game up in terms of rebounding and getting more shots off and getting more points selected. in order for this Dallas team to overcome what they're doing. But let's not forget, man, even last year, they weren't exactly the highest of seeds. And look what they did. They managed to control the Clippers and almost really should have beat the Clippers. So you can't ever count out the Mavericks by any chance, especially Luka Doncic. And I think the Mavericks will contend. And nothing else, they will make it competitive. And I think they put up a good front come playoff time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they're a solid team. They're not a championship team in my books, of course. They still need some pieces they need to tool around. I don't know if Porzingis is still that number 2 guy you really want, but they're looking good. They're, like I said, I think they're going to make the playoffs, no questions. They might get the first round just depending on who they play, but I don't see them going far. They still need to get a few pieces.
That's it, Logan. And Porzingis is 7'3" center. There's no reason why he should have like 15, 16 rebounds. He should have like double what he's getting. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't get it, but it is what it is. That's just how it's been for him. All right, we talked a little bit about it previously. Could Robert F. Smith become the NFL's first black owner? There's been discussions about him taking over the Denver Broncos ownership.
Yeah, I really like Joe's comments about him because I said, what do you think about the first black owner? He basically said he's the first white black owner we've ever had. I'm like, wow, that was powerful. And I don't, I don't want to take anything away from him. I mean, he's a Denver guy. He's from Denver. He's in the first 101 years, they've never had an African-American owner, so he would be the first one. I guess it just depends on your take on what you think about Robert himself. But I mean, John Elway is a leader of another group along with Peyton Manning, and then you also have Brittany Boland, daughter of late Pat Boland, with another group. So there's like 3 different groups that are buying for the Denver franchise, and this franchise is going to be an auction style franchise. And right now, Robert has about $6 billion. I think $4 billion is what they're saying the team is worth. So he's got more than enough money on his own to take over the team. Whether he, how well he competes against the other 2 groups is, I guess, up in the air. But I think, listen, there's 6 black GMs. There's 1 black coach. There's no black owner. So, to Joe's point, they need more ownership from the black community in order to balance out everything else that's going on around them. And I think this is the best shot. I think Robert Smith is going to be the best shot to make that happen.
Yeah. Rob, what do you think about another Robert possibly becoming an owner?
Yeah, it's going to be a good thing. If the first black owner, that's definitely a big deal for NFL. They have some, GMs, definitely head coaches. If they have the first black owner, it's definitely going to be a big thing. We already had the first black president with Obama. So, I mean, why can't we have the first NFL black owner? I mean, having the first black president is definitely bigger than having the first NFL black owner. So, I mean, if it happens, it would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. It's kind of crazy, Jay. Like you said, there's 6. You said what? 6 GMs who are African American. Only 1 coach, which is surprising. Since they also have the Rooney Rule, right, in face where you have to you have to interview at least I don't know the amount of African American coaches. But the fact there's only 1 that's still weird to me. Like I said, there's a few like we've seen that might be getting that head coaching job this offseason. We'll see. But I think that I'm all for Robert Smith getting that ownership job, and hopefully the Broncos got a little bit of momentum, right? Still haven't made the playoffs, but things are looking on the up and up. So maybe he might be that driving piece that gets them back into the playoffs in the very near future. So we'll see if he gets the team. If not, then we'll see.
Yeah, and Logan, before you go on to the next topic, real quick, if you look, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Some people are saying that the black coaches aren't getting enough time on the job; they're getting fired too fast. But and I agree. I think Flores was a perfect example of that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they fired him. I think they were ridiculously stupid for that move. But then I look at the other side of the coin, and I look at people like, Mike Tomlin. I look at Marvin Lewis with the Cincinnati Bengals, who had a long tenure there, and Lovie Smith with the Bears, who had a long tenure. So I think in the past, I think those coaches have been given some opportunities in the past I think maybe in the future, I think Brian Flores obviously was a ridiculous fire.
He'll get hired somewhere.
I don't know how you look at that coin. I mean, because there's arguments on both sides, and I don't know how you do that. But I do think that there needs to be a lot. And there's a lot of coaches that are African American that I would absolutely covet for the Dallas Cowboys. But I don't know if Aaron, but Jerry Jones, he just wants a yes man. And I don't know if any of those candidates are willing to be a yes man. And that's probably why we're not going to get any of them. And we're going to be stuck with the same bullshit, Mike McCarthy, that we've had forever. I don't know.
All right, well, let's keep it moving on. I think this is our it is our last topic. All right, should transgender athletes be able to compete in sports which they identify with? Caitlyn Jenner is saying no. Jay, I'll let you kick things off with this one, buddy.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that is archaic or tries to put progression and a regression. But at the same time, I gotta admit, man, listen, if I got a daughter, if my daughter is going into a swim meet, I'm gonna use swimming as an example. If I got a daughter that goes into swimming and I got another guy that's now a girl, but maybe hasn't gone through the surgery yet, but identifies as a girl, so you make him transgendered, I know for a good and well fact, physically, genetically, he's got bigger muscles, stronger muscles than my daughter does. And I really think it's an unfair advantage for him / her to have an advantage over my daughter. So I think it is. Like Caitlyn Jenner even said that she says no. I think I say no too, because I feel like even though they're transgendered, they still have a competitive advantage over the female athletes.
Rob, what you got on this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, transgender and all this stuff is now being more accepted in this country. So, I mean, I really don't have a problem with it. I mean, do I agree with it? Really, no. But I mean, I don't really have a problem with it because, I mean, transgender and all this stuff, is being more accepted in this country. And, they're trying to get their voice out. So, I mean, if it happens, it happens. I don't really agree with it too much, but, it is what it is,
Yeah, and I was telling Jay before we went live that Caitlyn Jenner is actually running for governor in California. I believe it's a Republican, if I'm not mistaken. And if you go and do just a quick Google search, you can find articles from, previous years where she has said in the past that she believes that transgender athletes should be competing in, with their respected identities. And then now she's kind of saying the opposite. So it might just be a way to get more votes. I don't know what it is, right? She might believe it. She might not. We'll never know. We'll never know what's inside of her head.
And one thing I want to say, and I don't want to make people understand, it's not that I'm against transgender, by the way.
Right.
Hey, listen, I support every walk of life, whatever you identify with. I fully support that. I'm just saying that when it comes to sports, I would like to see the competition be on the same playing field. And I think sometimes when we have a male that is converted to female going against females, they have a competitive advantage over them, and that's where the difference is. I want everything to be equal, and I feel like transgenders have an unfair advantage against the other counterpart.
And I mean, this is going to be a topic debated, well after all of us are long and gone, right? We're never going to have a complete 100% answer with this, if it's right, if it's wrong. And I mean, she might come out in 5 years after her political career might be over, and back them again and say, hey, I believe that transgender men or women should be competing with their respective genders or not. You just never know, right? It's always going to be a topic up for discussion. And like I said, in sports, there's always a lot going on. In the Olympics too, I believe that was some controversy last previous Olympics. And like I said, we're never going to get a complete answer on this. That's just the way it is. That's just how the world works. But I believe that is our final topic. So do you have any final thoughts here on anything sports related before we head out for tonight? Rob, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, man, I hope this San Francisco Green Bay game gets a little bit more interesting. It's 7-0 right now. Green Bay is up. So hopefully, it's a good game so far.
It's a little
hopefully slow. It's a little slow. Hopefully the action picks up. The Cincinnati-Tennessee game was a pretty good game. Congrats to Cincinnati. get into their first AFC Championship game since 1988, and they won back-to-back playoff games. They finally got the monkey off their back, beating your Vegas Raiders last week. I know
it was
mad about that, so it was tough. I know Jay's still mad about the Cowboys. I expected better from the Cowboys, man.
Me too.
I was
me too, man. Hey, you're not the only one. Me too, man. I'm so sad.
This is, man. They have great regular season, and Dak plays well, and they get to the playoffs, and something happens, and they can't get it done, man. It's disappointing. Like Dolphins. I agree. Flores shouldn't have been fired. You go 4-2 against the Patriots. You have 2 winning seasons.
None of us understand that one.
You don't get the quarterback right. You don't have the offensive line. But no reason to fire the head coach. So that's really all I got to say.
Jay, anything you want to get off your chest before we head out for the day?
Yeah, just a couple of things real quick. Number one, it's so awesome to have Rob's beautiful face back on the show with us. And forever how long it may be, man. I just want you to know, man, I love you, and I'm just glad to see you back on the show today, man. It makes me good to see your happy face.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Secondly, thanks to Joe Stevens for coming on the show. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a lot of time to spare, with his family being in town, but he managed to squeak out a few minutes for the show, and we do appreciate that. And thirdly, congrats, Bengals. I didn't pick you. I picked the Titans. And if they had just run the damn ball, we probably could have beat your butts. But we didn't do that. And y'all won. And I'm a bigger man, and I can admit when I've been beat and then the Bengals beat us.
Like I said, shout out to the Bengals. Still got that the Cinderella story going on, right? I know they don't like to call themselves the underdogs. That's what everyone's going to refer to them as. Joe Burrow's looking pretty good so far. And so is Jamar Chase, their kicker. And it's looking good for them. We'll see how they fare against either the Chiefs or the Bills. Like you said, we got Rams and Bucks. And then, like you said, we got the Packers and the 49ers. So we'll see how those teams go. I think the Packers still going to get the win. And I think the Rams pull it out tomorrow. So that's going to be a good matchup. And then we're getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl in close to February. So that's going to be a fun time. Can't wait to talk about it here on the show. But that is our show for tonight. Like I said, we are Unscripted. We go live Tuesdays, Thursdays, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and Saturdays at 8. We go live on Facebook at Unscripted. We're also live on the All Sports All Plays Network on Facebook and YouTube. So thanks to them for all this. Also, we are on Mob Crush for TV on Demand. So that is a new platform we're on. So thanks to ASAP for setting all that up for us. I have been your producer, Logan Landers. Special thanks to Frankie C for on the show, and of course our extremely special guest, the comedian of the show, we'll say, right, Mr. Former NBA player Joe Stevens, coming on the show, talking a little bit of ball with us. Always fun time. For my guy, big shot Robert Streit. Thanks so much for coming on, man. We've missed you on the show. Happy to have you on for tonight, and of course my co-host for day one, Jay McLovin. Thanks so much, man, for talking some sports. We'll be back on Tuesday at 7 o'clock with another live episode. But until then, enjoy your weekend, watch some football, and we will talk to you on Tuesday. See you then, everyone.
Good to be back on with you guys.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports all plays.